feel very disappointed with myself. I feel like I let him down somewhere. I'm very aware, and I do know that Robert did smoke weed. I do know he would eat edibles. But yet I just trusted him in my mind, thinking that's where he would stop. And I was clearly wrong. I mean, clearly wrong. I missed the mark.
I just got the news of Mary Cosby's son from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City about Robert Jr. passing away. And I literally had to stop myself from breaking out into tears.
Right now, there is a heavy feeling around what Mary Cosby is facing after losing her son. And the truth behind his sudden death feels deeper than people first believed. Now, Mary is slowly opening up about what she thinks really happened to Robert in those last moments he passed, from what is believed to be an overdose. And what makes this even more emotional is that Mary had already tried everything to help him. She was ready to send him to rehab and even supported him staying in jail if it meant he would stay safe from his struggles. But now her pain has turned into questions, and she is looking at one person she feels played a big role in his downfall. And that is his ex-wife, Alexandra. Smoke off.
When you have a relationship with your son and you want to give him the world, you want him to have a better life than you did, you know? I picked up and moved to New York for 8 years so that he can have the best education. He could be in a diverse atmosphere so he wouldn't be raised like I was raised. I was the only one in my class that was African American. They would play slave movies and the whole class would turn around and look at me. And I do blame myself. I feel like somewhere I missed the mark on.
Anyone who has watched Mary Cosby knows just how much love she had for her son, Robert Cosby Jr. She would always talk about how long she waited to have him and how he was not just her child, but someone she leaned on like a best friend. So when the news came out that he passed away at only 23, it shattered everything for her in an instant. A statement from Mary and her husband, Robert Cosby Sr., was shared, saying, "Our beloved son, Robert Jr., has been called home to the Lord. Though our hearts ache, we take comfort in God's promise and in knowing that He is finally at peace. We are grateful for your prayers and trust in the Lord to carry us through this time of sorrow." And while cast members from the Salt Lake City show reached out with love and support, both publicly and privately, something about the situation still feels unclear. Mary herself cannot ignore the details that do not sit right. Police confirmed that when they arrived at her home after an overdose call, Robert had already passed, and the reality is he had been open about his struggles with substances like nose candy, Xanax, and Molly since he was around 16. What started as something casual slowly turned into something he could not control, especially after he left school. Mary said she only realized how serious it was when she saw him pulling away, becoming quiet and distant. And that is when she decided to step in and find out what was really going on.
I love you more than anything. More than anything in this world. I think I love you more than Dad. Like, don't ever tell Dad I said that. But you're my friend. You're my son. You're my gift. God gave you to me. You're the only thing that ever made me happy. Before I had you, I was never happy. You came and you were so real. You was everything I hoped for in a person.
The moment Mary understood what was happening, she moved fast and took it seriously. She faced his addiction head on and made sure he got into rehab. And after his arrest, she even felt safer knowing he was in jail, because at least there he was not surrounded by danger, like he would be outside while she was doing everything she could to save him. There was still one person who stayed close in his life: his wife, Alexandria. Smoke off their story goes way back to high school. Around the same time his struggles began. What started as hanging out and partying slowly became something deeper and darker as they grew older. Their bond became tied to substance use, and they even shared moments online showing those habits with pills and bottles mixed with drinks. So by the time they got married in 2022, the damage had already been there for a long time. Mary did not even know they had gotten married until police showed up at her home in Utah, accusing her of keeping a minor. And that shocking moment is when she finally saw the full picture and made it clear she was not going to allow it anymore.
Hi.
Hi.
What's going on? When's the last time you picked up?
Probably like an hour ago.
Oh, you straightened up an hour ago?
Yeah, just recently.
And did you drink out of that bottle an hour ago?
Yeah.
After Rob was separated from Alexandria through therapy and their divorce, there was a visible change. He started looking healthier, he gained weight, he was more present, and it felt like things were finally moving in the right direction. But there was one pattern Mary could not ignore. Every time Alexandria came back into his life, that progress would disappear, and it did not feel like a coincidence. Robert himself had admitted that one of his biggest struggles was staying away from people in his circle who were still using, especially when they fell back into old habits. And sadly, one of the hardest people for him to walk away from was his ex-wife.
All the people that I was like cool with, they all relapsed.
People close to the situation say that even after their marriage ended, Alexandria still had a strong connection to Robert. So the bond between them never truly faded. And what makes it more painful is that some of his worst relapses happened right after he reconnected with her. Moments that should have been about healing turned into chaos. And when he tried to distance himself from her, things would spiral again to the point where he was arrested after going to her family home, believing he had to save her. Now Mary cannot stop thinking about how both his addiction and that relationship played a role in what happened. And deep down, she keeps wondering if things would be different if he had never met Alexandria. Those around her say she is completely broken and filled with regret, wishing she could have protected him from people she believes enabled his struggles. And right now, everyone watching this story unfold feels the weight of her pain as support pours in with messages like, "Say what you want about Mary Cosby, but you can tell she loves her son deeply. She poured so much of herself into him and truly wanted the best for his life. To see what Mary Cosby has been through her whole life, you know, that Robert Jr. was her only baby and light in the dark. For her to lose her only son at 23 years old is devastating. I can't imagine what Mary Cosby is going through. He was her only child, and she considered him one of her best friends." And as this heartbreaking story continues, people are left with so many questions and emotions about what really led to this moment.